Everyone, welcome to another Terry Talk. I want to talk about regrettable hires here in Canada. Robert Half survey just came out not too long ago. Um, Almost 2,000 managers were asked on the survey. It's a pretty good number. 90% of them, 90% of them report having difficulty finding qualified candidates. That's huge. And when you take that into consideration, in 2023, almost half managers saying they made a regrettable hire, which doubled the previous year, like 17% in 2022, 41% in 2023, saying, hey, made a regrettable hire. That's wow. Now, lots of different things being contributed here. It's like taking too long to find to make an offer, putting too much weight on technical skills. The other thing they said, and this is all Robert Half, not us, hiring unqualified candidates just so they could stay in that compressed salary range. So here's a couple tips that we suggest you might want to consider when hiring people. We need to make good strategic hiring decisions. So the first thing out of the gate is when you have an opening, when you have an opportunity, make sure it messes with your strategy. Or are you just filling in a box on an org chart? If it's just filling a box in an org chart, take a time out, refocus back. How does this link to our strategy? You always have to get the compensation right. So compensation has been it's been on a roller coaster the last little while with inflation and whatnot. So you want to make sure you get the numbers right, or else candidates are going to leave you alone. When you get the candidate, understand that the role is but sort of guardrails. When you get a candidate in, you're going to job craft to their strengths. You're going to focus on where their strengths are to make sure they're executing well on the objectives. Don't get hemmed in by specifics around, oh, we have to have these key competencies. Important, yes, but also everybody brings their own unique strengths and weaknesses. Don't miss out on the fact they may be able to do some things a little different than what maybe your role description says has to get done. Character versus competence. This is work that's coming to the Ivy Business School here in London, Ontario. Okay, the character is a great predictor of stress reduction inside organizations. So, character is equally as important as competency, and that's certainly a huge issue today, maybe a day or two before the election in the United States. Also, culture fit. How does the person align to your culture? We can actually measure culture. We do it here at ARIA. You can figure out where your culture is, where people like the culture to be, and how that candidate may mesh or not mesh with your culture. Speaking of assessment of culture, we can assess a lot of things. So, with candidates coming in today, they're super over rehearsed. They're getting lots of help with AI and coaches and whatnot. So the person you see in your interview may not be the person in the reality when all the lights are off. So good assessment gets to a more objective measure of who the person is. Things like leadership and emotional intelligence and general mental ability and orientation to conflict. There's a whole battery of assessments that we use to really help hone in on what that person's really like. And of course, when all else fails, get help from experts. There's lots of us out there, including ourselves, but this is not for the faint of heart. It's one of the biggest decisions you make inside an organization. It's a huge investment. So if you're struggling with it, get help. You want to make sure you get it right. We don't want to have 41%, almost 50% of employers say, hey, we made the wrong choice. That has a huge impact on your bottom line that you simply cannot afford. Love to get your thoughts on this. Drop us a comment down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.